Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sports Money, ZSM, MacTan, whatever you want to call me, and welcome to another episode of the Sports Money's Daily. I'm recording this on Tuesday night, September the 12th of 2017, and I'll try to have it uploaded to you guys before midnight my time. I'm on US Eastern time, and then tomorrow's videos will be the typical replays plus a jungling guide. So on today's daily, we're not actually going to be going through a full replay. We're going to be analyzing a specific moment from DeMoN Dota, one of the most interesting moments I've seen recently, in fact. So first of all, I'm going to mute this. So what DeMoN has done recently is this awesome thug nasty play where he drops his tranquils and picks them up in between right clicks from this Jakiro, and in doing so he doesn't lose the health bonus buff like you normally would when you take damage or right click someone with tranquil boots on. And then he's able to keep the movement speed up, he's able to get more survivability, and he's ultimately using this to bait the Jakiro and then a Clockwork to his shrine to kill them with allies TPing in and use the shrine heal to recover what he's lost. So he sees Fear TPing out, glimpses him, and then in the process, now we see him doing the Tranquil Drop, Tranquil Drop, Tranquil Drop, gets up to the high ground and uses the fountain, narrowly missing death at the hands of the rocket from the clock. Clock's running away, and he has Glimpse max by level 8 because it is an incredible spell, and then immediately picks up the clock, and the clock gets killed, and DeMoN just like, incredible play. Awesome play. I'll play it one more time. I'm assuming that this falls under fair use, and the reason that you guys don't hear sound from it is because I'm trying to keep it fair use and not get flagged for some sort of stealing someone else's content. But it is quite the impressive play. Hits a bit, hits a bit, hits a bit, and he's going to get glimpsed back and then murdered. And the most interesting part of this entire play is that it's not an accident. This isn't something that, like, happened to be, oh shit, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I know how to do this thing with my tranquils, and so it's going to keep me from dying so quickly, and I'll probably live. He planned this. In the clip that I just showed you, which if you go to the front page of the Dota Reddit and find a thread titled DeMoN with the Sick Tranquil Boots plays, this is, here's one, it's Grant's perspective of this, and then down here the first is DODEJIMON, DeMoN. Hello OP, DeMoN chat mod asked me to post this. This is from DeMoN's perspective, and it's got his comms in it. And based on what he's saying while he's doing this, he is able to, like, he knew what was going to happen. That was his goal. He planned this play out very specifically, and the entire thing was a bait from the very start. From the moment he started dropping his tranquils, he was planning this is exactly how this is going to go. And we see DeMoN do a bunch of throwy things when things like this don't work out. But that was not the case this time. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my audio back on to about 25%. It's relatively quiet. That's right. So he's over here, sees the Jakiro, glimpses him back. That's another awesome tip you can do when you're playing against a Disruptor. Is if you're playing as a Disruptor and you have glimpse, if you see someone TPing out, you can actually see the cast time bars on everything now. So if you see them TPing out right before they're about to TP, hit them with the glimpse, and then they'll immediately be teleported back to wherever they were right before they teleported out. And then Fear, who's playing on Jakiro, this is EG Fear, this is a very good player, this is a TI winner, sees him and goes, okay, I can kill him because he's a Disruptor and I'm Jakiro, and he just burned a bunch of mana glimpsing me. So he goes over, Tread Drop, picks it up in between right clicks, Tread Drops, picks it up between right clicks, Tread Drops, brings it between right clicks, and this gives him enough health and enough movement speed to survive to the shrine, and I'm playing from Radiant, but I can now use the shrine and it will heal me. So there are a few things you have to note. There's a lot going on here, and a lot that goes together to make up what he just did. So the first thing is being very familiar with the mechanics of Tranquil Boots, and being very familiar with dropping your items and picking them up at opportune times. This is done a lot by players. Axe and Tranquil Boots in the jungle is a very big example of this. These days I recommend moving Boots to your backpack and then moving them back a few seconds before you think you're going to stop taking damage. If you can time that out correctly, it's the optimal way because no one can steal your boots. Also, the 6-second cooldown on this item, on the transfer, is lower than the... What is the total here? It is 13 seconds. So even if you screw it up, 6 seconds of cooldown is better than 13. You don't risk getting your item denied. That being said, if you can see where everyone else is in the map, you're not playing against a bounty, you're not playing against a Ricky or anyone else that would naturally have invisibility ability, then it's safe to do, and especially around shrines, it's very common to see people do that because you'll be gathered up as a group. One invisible Ricky is not going to risk killing your item because if you have dust, he's just going to get killed. Unless there's 5 enemy heroes around, it's a bad idea. And what you'll see people do is they'll drop items that give you base stats, either maximum hit points, maximum health, or maximum mana, or strength or intelligence. If you have an item that's going to give you 10 strength, I believe that's 250 hit points, then what that item does is it increases your maximum hit points by 250, and it keeps your current percentage of hit points the same. So if you're at half health, and you pick up an item that's going to increase your max hit points through strength by 250, your max goes up 250, but because you're at 50% currently, your current hit points only go up by 125. With shrines, they heal you 50 or 90 HP per second and 40 mana per second over 5 seconds. This is a fixed amount of HP and mana. This is not a percentage-based heal. So if you drop your items here, if you drop items that give you core stats, use the shrine, and then when the shrine expires, picks them back up, you'll actually heal more because your percentage overall will be higher because your max bars will be lower, and then when you pick up the item again, your current percent will stay the same, but that current percent will be the percent of your big total with these stats increasing items. So a lot of people, a lot of professional players, for that efficiency reason, have practiced and got very good at quickly dropping and picking up items. Tranquil Boots being the most notable example of this, but pros in general are very good at this dropping, picking up thing. I am not, but I've seen a lot of people do it, and I've seen a lot of people do it well, I've seen a lot of people do it poorly. So the next thing you have to think about is vision. So I can't see up here from right here, even during this clip happened during the daytime, but I can't see this floor. And from here, I can see this floor, but I can't see up here. So it's several stories, and if you look over on Radiant, you have a similar position where you can't see. Actually, I think is there only 2 stories here? Interesting. No, there's a platform right there. So similar situation on Radiant. So what he knows, based on the enemies that are chasing him, is that if he drops his items and picks them up, if you have the mechanical ability to do that, and you can pay very close attention to bob and weave dropping and picking up those Tranquil Boots between auto attacks so that they are never deactivated and you lose the regen and bonus movement speed, he'll have enough effective hit points through that bonus regeneration and enough movement speed through the active Tranquil movement speed bonus to reach the shrine, which will heal him. And in the process, he cues in his allies knowing that he can make it to the shrine, with Fear thinking he won't make it to the shrine, because if Fear deactivates his Tranquils, he's dead. Right. And he got very close to dying. And in doing so, he pulls all the way up here, his ally TP's in, his mid laner Puck rotates over, and suddenly Fear's dipping out because he realizes he can't die, and Clock goes in for the gank. When Clock goes in for the gank, it's way, by the time he can see this high ground, it's already kind of over. Like, the Clock can't escape. The Clock uses the cogs to box everyone out right around here, and then auto attacks one here and starts running away. But if you're a high-level Disruptor player, you're going to be maxing Glimpse first, because it's one of the best abilities in all of Dota 1 and 2. And so he immediately gets glimpsed, thrown back into a static ring, and is then ganked. So the key elements that came into place to allow DeMoN to be able to execute this play is knowing how this high ground vision works, telling his team to meet him here, and having the mechanical ability to drop this and pick this up. Which ultimately comes down to playing a shitload of Dota to get those mechanics down. because once you have the mechanics of this item drop down, then all he needs to do is queue in his allies and make sure that the people ganking him don't have vision right here. They can see the puck coming in, and a Disruptor that will likely die and would die if he didn't have that mechanical ability, the puck can't do anything. But if he survives, the puck still probably can't do anything. At worst, you mess up the gank, even though it's almost a guaranteed kill on DeMoN. With that extra TP coming in, and DeMoN surviving to hit the Shrine regen, you're now facing a pretty well-off puck, a nearly full Disruptor, and then a Bounty Hunter. So you have 3 heroes all on top of you at once, and there's absolutely no way out. Also, remember that maxing that the relocate thing might have a brain fart. Hold on. The Disruptor ability that I've been talking about this entire game. I'm sorry, guys. I've been feeling kind of mentally sluggish today. Disruptor. Glimpse. So Glimpse, when you max out Glimpse, you get every single point in Glimpse gives you a longer cast range, which is very important because when you see him get glimpsed, he's like over here, and then he gets thrown back up onto this cliff from a Disruptor that's standing like right here. So max your Glimpse, which if you should be doing anyway. And the key takeaways from this video, the key advice I have for you is, 1, you got to play a lot of Dota to get that good. 2nd, practice toggling your tranquils a bit, but don't practice it for the first few dozen times when you're worried you might die or get completely stunned up, because if that happens, then you'll lose your boots. So it's pretty safe to practice if you're at half health, you drop your boots, and there's a slow-moving ranged hero coming after you with a pretty easy-to-track projectile. Like Jakira's got a pretty slow projectile speed. So it's a good hero to practice against. You can even do it in private lobbies. The next element here is to be aware of your vision. Know that his enemies have no vision here when he's down here, and they have no vision up here until he gets here. In fact, I think the thing that gave them vision was when Clock was right here, he fired a rocket, which revealed this upper area. And then 3rd and lastly, which is very, very specific to the situation, when you play Disruptor, get into the habit of maxing out Glimpse first, because it does require some setup, and you're going to screw it up a lot, but you need to screw it up a lot to get good at using it, and having a good understanding of that ability and being able to use it well is ultimately a factor that led to this being possible. You needed to know your vision well, you needed to be good at dropping those boots and picking them up and basically tranquil boot walking the auto attacks of the Jakiro, and you needed to be able to glimpse. And if you didn't have all those 3 abilities in your toolkit, all those 3 skills in your toolkit, then this doesn't work. So practice all 3 of them, and put yourself into situations where it makes you practice all 3 of them. With Disruptor, that's as simple as maxing Glimpse first and getting into the habit of sending people back to Fountain. At the very least, you can have a lot of fun glimpsing people. If you see someone immediately TP to a lane, then you can use Glimpse on them as soon as they finish teleporting, and they'll go back to where they came from. So that's also fun. But remember, cast range. Cast range is massively important with the ability, and it scales from 600 to 1800 with a 60-second cooldown to an 18-second cooldown. One of the most powerful abilities in Dota. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, hit those like and subscribe buttons. This has been a pretty short daily, but I really wanted to review this clip, and I'll see you guys next time.